all know that habits can make a huge difference to our life. Here are 7 habits that are going to change your life completely, and they're going to improve your health and your well-being. When I searched for this topic, this was the first video that came up, and I really think we need less toxic approaches to this subject that aren't just about being horrible to people. And my first one is kind of on that topic. I need you to stop beating yourself up. And the likelihood is that because you clicked on this video, you probably have been beating yourself up. If you think you need to fix your life, then you've probably been pretty mean to yourself. But negative reinforcement is actually not helpful. And I used to be a teacher, like, take this from me. I know this super well. I've had a lot of training on this subject, and you certainly wouldn't treat a kid the way you treat yourself sometimes. Many of us think being hard on ourselves makes us better, but that isn't true. It actually creates more shame and makes us feel worse, and often causes us to procrastinate more because we feel so much shame. Positive reinforcement is actually way more effective. Doing your best, whatever your best is right now, is absolutely fine. You can work to your strengths and just try to make a habit of being kinder to yourself and encouraging yourself and changing that inner voice to be more positive, encouraging and motivational. Think of a great teacher that you had at school or a really good friend. What would they say to you? They wouldn't tell you off for the place you're in right now. They would be kind, and that is what is going to help you the most. Sometimes it's hard to believe that we deserve that treatment, but you do. And even if you don't believe that, it is what's going to help you achieve whatever you want to achieve. So just go with it for that reason. Next, you need to learn how to rest. Hustle culture is huge at the moment. It's taking over. Everybody's telling you that you should be working all of the hours of the day. We're also constantly overwhelmed with technology. We're barely ever alone. Even when we are alone, we're listening to podcasts. We've got music on in the background. We're watching YouTube videos or we're scrolling through Instagram or TikTok. There's so much stimulation going on that we are barely resting. Even when we feel like we're resting, our brains are still massively overstimulated. And many of us who have worked for people that will email you at all different times of the day, you're almost constantly connected to working. The pandemic made us feel like there's never any off time from work because we are constantly expected to reply to those emails. And depending on your lifestyle, it might only be a small amount of time that you can rest, but even 5 or 10 minutes of having a lie down, sitting down with a cup of coffee and switching off all devices, or 20 minutes of reading. Reading is my personal choice of rest, and I do it every single night before I go to bed. And I know it's a form of stimulation, but it's quite low level and calm. I also find creative stuff is a really good way to rest. Drawing or crafting or doing something fun. And when I say reading, don't go reading all of the self-help or therapy books. That is still kind of work. You're still trying to absorb information into your brain. You need complete rest from working on yourself, from everything. Just have like a little bit of fun or just a little bit of quiet. Even if that is just sitting in a dark room for 5 minutes, it will make a massive difference, especially if you try to prioritize that daily. Next, finding a fitness schedule or type of fitness that you can actually stick to. You don't actually have to love it. Just find something that's easy to stick to regularly. It will give you more energy and make you feel more capable in your life. It can be an outlet for stress. It improves mental health and can help you be more resilient and more confident, and it will help you take on challenges better. There's obviously loads of health benefits to finding a good fitness routine that you can stick to as well. Just pick something that has the least resistance for you. I acknowledge that not everybody enjoys doing something that is fitness based, but even if it's just a couple days a week and it's 15 minutes and it's something you can just get out of the way, you will be shocked at how much that changes your life. Right, next, I feel super passionately about this one. Stop jumping on the fad diets. Stop trying to shrink your body. And no, that doesn't mean you need to give up on being healthy, but being healthy and weight loss are totally different things. The habit you can build is focusing on healthy habits that you can implement. So that could be eating more vegetables, drinking enough water, doing the fitness step that I just told you. It's the little things that might improve your life marginally and make you feel better, give you better health, and that will have a knock-on effect. If you're getting all the right vitamins and nutrients in, your brain is going to function better and your body is going to function better. If you're constantly starving yourself or jumping on the next diet trend, you're more likely to feel worse about yourself. You won't be able to concentrate as much at your job. You'll feel frazzled and more stressed generally. And if you can, it's best to remove that whole judgment of your body altogether and work on body neutrality. But that is a whole separate thing and it's really difficult to do. This is one of my favourite ones, and as you can see behind me, I have a huge stack of journals. Journaling. Now bear with me, I know lots of people will probably switch off at that because journaling seems like a massive extra task that you need to add on, but it doesn't need to be super complicated. It can literally just be brain dumping your thoughts and feelings, and that's exactly what I do. Now this helps me be more productive, it helps me evaluate my life and understand what's going on and what I need to change and how I want to progress in my life. It also helps me deal with my feelings and emotions. There's all this pressure on us in the world to think positive all the time, but that is actually not helpful. Pressuring ourselves into thinking positive actually leads to obsessively trying to push out all negative feelings, and that means we tend to ruminate on them for longer, and they also cause us way more stress because we're not processing them. That takes way more energy and effort, and we feel so much worse doing that. And you might not realise because so many people have told you that you just need to think positive, and it's not your fault. But actually, journaling, dumping out those emotions and processing them might be what you need to do. You can just start a page with "today I'm feeling" and see what flows out. And it's really uncomfortable the first few times, but as you get used to it, it does get better. You could also write down a title like work or fitness or body image or relationships or something that you're trying to focus on in your life, and then you can evaluate what's going right and what's going wrong and what you might need to change around that topic. This can empower us to take action, and normally I use my journal notes to kind of feed into my to-do list, so I actually take action on the things that come up, but it works so well, and when I stop doing that, my life gets so much worse. Next, you need to find ways to reduce stress, and a lot of us feel completely powerless to reduce stress in our lives, but this comes under like boundary setting. For many of us that have worked busy jobs, we might have bosses that constantly pile on loads of responsibilities, and it's really hard, but we can set boundaries with those bosses. You can say stuff like, "I don't have the capacity for that right now," but when they give you something else to do and you've already got a task that they gave you with a deadline that's say at the end of the day, and you can say, "I'm doing this other task that you needed me to get done by the end of the day, would you like me to prioritise this new task over that task?" And usually they'll say no, they'll realise that their request was silly and not relevant and they just thought of it off the top of their head and didn't realise they were giving you loads of extra stress. That's something that I learned by using this strategy repeatedly. Reducing stress might also include evaluating different parts of your life that causes you stress, such as family or social events, and seeing what you can do to change those interactions. So if having a family member come over for an unlimited amount of time is quite stressful because you've got so many other things to do, you could arrange to go for a walk, and that way you're also going out in nature, but the walk is going to have an end time. Someone's not going to be able to walk for 3 hours, they might walk for an hour, and then you'll go home and you've seen them and you've fulfilled that obligation, but you've done it in a way that works for you. Even if it's just going to a cafe and having a coffee, you're not going to sit in a cafe for 3 hours plus. You can almost use activity selection as a way to reduce your own stress, and a lot of people find it tough making decisions, so if you come in making suggestions, then it might take some of the pressure off them to make the decision and you get to do something that's less stressful for you. Stress could also be caused by your other habits, so for me, I have a tendency to like flick through my phone to numb my emotions when I'm trying to avoid feeling something, and that creates more stress for me. So to cut that out, I have a lock box for my phone. It's literally a phone prison. It looks like a prison and I lock my phone in it, and that means that I can't touch my phone, and that habit is completely cut out, and I'm left to deal with my feelings and emotions, and sometimes I go to journal to figure that out, or sometimes I do a different, more calming task, but it definitely makes me less stressed. And I've noticed that because I evaluate my life repeatedly and I realised that my phone was something that was causing me a lot of hassle and a lot of stress, so I figured that out. And there might be something else in your life that's causing you stress, but being aware is so helpful. Now this is a big one. Remember, it's more important how your life feels than how it looks. You'll be so much more happy if you detach yourself from feeling like you need to spend loads of money getting all of the new things, convincing yourself that new possessions are going to make you happier, because they're likely not. I've always grown up in a frugal family, but I've gone through times in my life where I kind of got more possession orientated because I'd grown up in such a frugal family, and having money made me want to spend it. But I realised that spending the money on the things that I thought were going to make me happier actually made me less happy, because then I was stressed because I had less money, and yeah, I had the shiny new thing, but I didn't feel good about it because I had less money, and not having enough money can cause so much more stress than having a shiny new possession. Being broke will make your life feel a lot worse than the marginal improvement that shiny new thing might give you. And appreciating the small things in life has definitely been something that I've taken away from this year. I've realised what I actually enjoy and what I want to do more of, and what I'm actually okay with. I don't need a brand new, much bigger house. My house that I live in at the moment is absolutely fine, and although it's quite small because I'm English and we have smaller houses over here, it's perfect. We've got enough room. I don't need bigger and better all of the time, and that is honestly life-changing. There's nothing more freeing than not being part of that race where people are trying trying to be better than everybody else by having more stuff and more expensive things, and just being content with what you have. If you enjoyed this video, you might like this one. It's about getting healthy without dieting or weight loss goals, which links to one of my tips that I gave. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.